Every day, you wake up as your own boss, making your own way. Every day, you continue your journey to change the world, your team, and yourself. Every day, you encourage, congratulate, celebrate, and reach toward your goal of being the best and providing the best. The Build Your Best Business Show is for you. The real stories of building a business from other owners and founders along the journey. Find the support and advice you need to successfully start, grow, manage, and exit your business. What are you going to do today to build your best business?
Welcome to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw, coming to you from TiECon Southeast. We are at the TiE Southeast event talking with some young entrepreneurs. They are with the TYE, which we think is the Young Entrepreneurs, which is a part of TiE Atlanta. So first, let's go around and have you guys are the creators of Contain Freshness, and your product is the Fresh Lock Dome. So I'm going to have each of you introduce yourselves, and then we're going to talk a little bit about your company and kind of the experience of going through the TYE program.
Hi, my name is Ayush.
Ayush?
I'm Viraj.
Hi, I'm Ria.
All right, so what is the Fresh Lock Dome?
So basically, when we're trying to make a business idea, we want to pick a good problem, and our problem was people were wasting too much food. So we made a product that actually prolongs the amount of time you have that you can use your fruits and vegetables. So we made a dome that can go around your fruit bowl that actually absorbs a certain gas called ethylene.
Yep.
And this ethylene gas actually makes fruits and vegetables ripen faster. So when we absorb this ethylene, fruits and vegetables stay in that ripened state for longer, and they don't rot for a longer time.
I absolutely need this. We're empty nesters now, so we go buy food, and then eventually it has to be thrown out.
Yeah.
So tell me about the experience, the TYE experience. So
It's been amazing. We've been at this project for 10 months now. At the beginning in September, none of us knew each other, but it's been a great bonding experience, and the project as a whole has been amazing.
So a little bit about you guys go in and you start getting assigned, and you have to come up with a business problem.
Yes, so we went in, Jim and Amina assigned us our groups, and then we had to come up with problems that we found in the world, and then found one that we thought we could solve, which we did.
Who came up with the problem? Was somebody looking in your grapes in the refrigerator?
Actually, I was studying for an AP biology test, actually. I was really stressed out, and our unit was plant hormones, and they were talking about this gas called ethylene, which makes fruits and vegetables ripen faster. So I thought, this is so cool. Why don't we make a product that controls this gas so we can control how long it takes for our fruits and vegetables to ripen?
Very nice. And I love the fact that it's a practical product that you're trying to create, because it's so much different than reading a case study about how someone else may have done it, right? So you guys just did a pitch event, which those of listening who don't know what a pitch event is, that you get up and you talk about your business plan and, potentially even get investors sometimes. So talk to me about the pitch event.
Well, we got here early morning, tired, got ready, and we waited for a bit. We got on stage, waited for our PowerPoint to come up, and we just
something like a high-pressure presentation.
Yeah. We got up there, nerves racking, kind of nervous, but we powered through, let it all out, had a good time doing it, and I think it all went really well. Yeah.
And so the team is how big? How many people?
There are 5 of us.
5. Okay. And how do you decide, do different people do different parts of the project? Or are you working collaboratively?
It's both collaborative and kind of separate. We all have our roles in the company, but of course we're all working together on every part of it.
Okay. All right. And so as you went through the experience, how did you, after you decided that this was something you wanted to go after, what were some of the next steps? Did you have to build a business plan first, find the product?
Right, we tried to figure out how we could solve it, and then we decided on the dome, and then we figured out that fruits produce ethylene, and then so we needed ethylene absorbers, so we tried to find some online, and we did, and then that's how we made it work.
It was really like a big chain reaction. We solved one problem, and another one came up. We're like, okay, we need to solve this one too, and just kind of all pieced together as we kept working.
And what came first? Was it coming up with what the
So-
product idea was first, or was it the business? Because you have to sort of think about both, right?
Yeah,
How
so
much would people be willing to pay for it, and how much it costs to manufacture
So
it?
I think I'll do. But the first thing we found was the idea, as I mentioned, my test that I was studying for. So everything was based on that idea. So the first thing we did was research, like, has anyone done this before? Take what they've done and kind of turn it into what we could do. So we looked at other companies that were doing similar things, and then we started off with a design first to get a whole grip on, okay, we need a physical product. So then once we came up with a design, we can start putting prices to it. How are we going to market it? Because we need to know what we're doing before we can actually go and put prices to it.
Right.
First thing was we created the design, and we just went from there.
How much did you, so in creating that design, were you going off and doing customer research on it, or like how did you know what was going to work?
It was a lot of research we were doing. We looked at our competitors. We looked at like their customer reviews, see what their problems were. We took those problems, we made them better, improved upon them, and fixed them in our product to allow for the customers to have more satisfaction.
The internet's a fabulous thing. You can actually go out and find reviews of what
Yeah.
people don't like about something and figure out how you could potentially fix that in another
course,
way. Yeah. So in the what was it's challenging for individuals to come together in the real world and decide to build a business. So there are 5 of you creating a product together. What is the concept of what's that been like? Like how did you decide roles?
Well, we made the entire project together, and then after we finished it, then we kind of went through it, and we were like, okay, you can do this, you can do this, and then we just did it together.
It was really a spontaneous thing. Like, we were all working together, and then
Right.
all of a sudden I started putting the finances together. And like, oh, this guy should probably be like CFO. He put the finance together. He knows the finances. Okay, we'll make him the financial guy.
I've started a couple businesses with people who had finance degrees, so I was like, I think this person will probably do the finances, and I'm the one who ends up doing the finances, maybe because I like spreadsheets. So, yeah. So, you talked about the pitch event. Practicing for that, like, how did you guys go through a process to learn how to stand in front of everyone and tell them about your business idea?
Well, how it started off is in the TiE class, we all got together almost every Sunday, every other Sunday, and we worked on our presentations. But once it was time, like a few months ago, we started doing presentations in class to everyone, to get everyone a better understanding of what it's like presenting in front of a group, presenting with your group, presenting your idea. So we did that a few times in class. Then a few weeks ago, we had an entire mock presentation with all of our parents watching. It was the first time they got to see any of our stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we had to talk to all of our parents, have a great time, have a nice car ride of them telling us what we did wrong.
Next time, don't
Yeah.
say this, don't do that, don't, right? So you guys are all juniors in school?
Freshmen.
Freshmen.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very cool. And so then what happens from here? Like, you've done this. Are you really going to put the product in market? Like, what do you do next?
If we win here, first place gets to go to TiE Globals, which is in California. So different chapters from around the country and the world
Yeah.
get together. And we feel like if we get to go to Globals, we might pursue with the company itself.
All right.
And actually do it. Like, start a Kickstarter and go ahead with it.
And so in the kind of concept of being an entrepreneur, I wish I had known at your age that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to work for IBM, which I did work for IBM for like 3 years and realized I didn't really like IBM as a place to work. And so I went to my first startup. How did you know you wanted to do something in the entrepreneurial space, or
I mean,
each one of you? I'm very curious.
we found the program. I think Aisha's dad found it actually, and then we just decided that this would be a good learning experience, and we could do it, and we could see where it takes us, and
Yeah.
then we ended up liking it. So.
Yeah.
For me, it was kind of a similar thing, but so I'm family friends actually with like the founder of the company of TiE, so we were kind of inclined to have to do it. And we also had a few family friends that had gone through it, told us that they loved the program. And since I had heard about it, I wasn't old enough to do it at the time, but a few years later, I was finally a freshman. I could finally do it, and I thought it'd be a really good experience and everything. So I told my parents, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, and here I am.
Oh, good. Well, they'll either love that or they'll try to dissuade you, one or the other. It reminds me a little bit. My daughter did Odyssey of the Mind when she was about your age, and I still have the email from the friend of hers who was like, "Hey, do you want to join this crazy thing called Odyssey of the Mind?" And then they went through, and it was a creative thinking competition, and they go to World, I think is what they call it. From each of you, and we'll start here. What have you learned that you maybe didn't expect to learn?
Before I joined this place, I was always in awe, like, okay, these guys, they made a product. How are they making this product? This seems so hard. They have to get their own manufacturing plant. And it was just like, oh my God, how am I going to do this myself? But when I went in, I just like, oh my God, it's so much easier than it seemed.
So it's like possible.
It's not impossible. Yeah,
Right.
it's possible.
Yeah.
So they taught us, to start off with the basics, like, what do you need first? You need a problem and a solid idea. And how do you build off of that? And they basically showed us every single part of the business, going from finances to manufacturing to advertising to marketing. Every single aspect, we had like a class or a few classes on it. And they would teach us, like, what are the key things you need for your finances. And then they would just let us by ourselves to figure out how it relates to our company.
Yeah.
So
Well, what's really nice about it is there are often businesses that are built that haven't thought of a problem. Like somebody just had this idea and they decided to put it together. So I like that they make you guys start with a problem. Yeah. So what about you? What did you learn that you didn't expect?
Well, of course, I learned all the basics of making a company, but first meeting, before they even asked us to make our teams, before they even thought about planning our teams, I walk in thinking, okay, entrepreneurs, that's risk and creativity. We walk in, Jim, our mentor, completely destroys that.
Yeah.
He's
like, no risk.
He's like,
don't be creative.
As an entrepreneur, you want no risk, minimal risk. Creativity, you don't need that. Just just take someone else's idea and make it a little better.
Well, I mean, there's a proven market for those things.
Yeah,
and it's a good way to start in your first business, because then you can pivot out and do something more when you have the money, right, to do it. What about you?
Well, for me, before TiE, I never really considered anything. Like, if I saw a random product, I wouldn't really consider the steps that it took to make it.
Yeah.
But then after TYE started, I started thinking about it, and we made our own product. So mainly just like the steps of how to make a product, how to make a company. And then it helped our presentation skills a lot too. Like before, I could have never done anything like this.
Yeah, it gives you an appreciation for all these things we see in the store that we take, or on Amazon, that we take for granted. You're kind of like, oh, how did that appear? Well, great. And so the next steps for you guys is you did the competition this morning. You'll find out this afternoon if you're headed to Global, which is over in San Francisco or something.
California.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Well, I wish there had been programs like what you guys went through when I don't know would I've done it or not. I don't know. I have to think about that. So, but it does get you outside of kind of just reading about it as a case study or doing problems. And it's a different grading scale, isn't it? It's not. Yeah, your grading scale
really exposes you to like what it's really like, other than just reading it.
Yeah, does the customer buy it? That's really the ultimate grading scale for it. Well, thank you so much. So we'll get your names again. So starting with you.
I'm Ria.
I'm Viraj.
And I'm Ayush.
They are the creators of Contain Fresh, and their product is Freshness. I keep wanting to call it Contain Fresh. Contain Freshness, and their product is the Fresh Lock Dome. They are in the TYE program, which is a part of TiE Atlanta. We're broadcasting from TiECon Southeast, and I hope you guys grow up and build your best businesses. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you're your own boss. Now comes the hard part. It's not just about starting a business, it's about successfully managing and growing that business to an eventual exit. And along that entrepreneurial journey, you're going to run into questions and problems that you need quick answers to. Things like, do you need a business plan? How do you read a balance sheet? How do you talk to an investor? When do you bring on a founder? Or what if you're having problems with your partner? These are the types of things that you run into as you're trying to grow that business to the next level, and they may not be the things you want to share in public with other people. They're the problems and issues that arise that, as I have experienced along my own entrepreneurial journey, that I needed to have someone I could trust to reach out to and have a conversation and get a different perspective. And it was often those short conversations that would be the thing that moved me from where I was to where I needed to be. It's for that reason I created the On-Demand CXO product offering. On-Demand CXO is something that you can use to have a conversation with a trusted advisor about what's going on in your business. We do a 1-hour phone call to talk about your business, talk about your objectives, and understand what it's going to take to move you from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. From there, you have ongoing access to a Slack channel to ask me questions in private about what's going on in your business so that I can provide some advice or connections to my network to individuals who can help you solve against that problem. You will also have access to my Facebook page, which is full of other entrepreneurs who are along the same journey, to have more broad conversations, things that you trust and would talk about in a networking event. But when you need to go and have that conversation with a trusted advisor, you will have the ability to have a conversation with me in a place that's safe, completely anonymous, and unbiased. I want to see you succeed and build your very best business.
Are you looking to grow your business? Maybe you know exactly who you need to get in contact with, you're just not sure how to go about it. Podcasting is your answer, and at Briller Media, we make you the expert. We have state-of-the-art equipment to record your audio and video podcast. Plus, we take care of everything on the back end. We schedule your guests, upload your podcast to the top podcasting platforms, and we push out your show on social media, promoting you, your business, and your guest's business. How could they ignore your pitch after that? Briller Media, we make you look brilliant.
Sometimes, life gives you crazy ideas. Chase them.
Welcome to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We're coming to you from TiECon, which is being put on by TiE Atlanta. We are talking with some young entrepreneurs today. They're part of the TYE program, which either stands for TiE Young Entrepreneurs or The Young Entrepreneurs. We're sort of making things up today as we go. Build Your Best Business is about what it takes to successfully grow, manage, and potentially exit a business. So that may or may not be where these guys are because they're just getting started, but it's really a cool program that lets them try this out. I'm talking to the creators and founders of QuickFlite, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Albert Liang.
I'm Raheel Juma.
Hi, I'm Samir Sharma.
Yeah, I would have screwed all those up, so I'm glad you guys do that. So first, tell me a little bit about what is QuickFlite? What is the product you created or service you created?
So QuickFlite is essentially a more easy access airline app where instead of going all the way to Hartsfield-Jackson Airport through all the Atlanta traffic and TSA lines, you could just go to your nearest general aviation airport and just take off to where you want to go.
Oh, wow. I wish I'd known about that. This past week, I just went to Charleston. I would have totally flown to Charleston instead of driving. And I would still have the front end of my car, too, because poor unfortunate possum didn't make it. So tell me about the TYE experience. So what is it, and how did you guys get into it? A little bit about that.
It's been really great so far. We started like 9 months ago, something like that, a long time ago. And Amin and Jim have been meeting with us every Sunday, and they've been mentoring us every week. At the beginning, when we were trying to brainstorm for an idea, it was tough. We probably spent like a month and a half just trying to come up with the idea. But once we got the idea, it just kind of started like rolling off well. And so after they brought in some special mentors that helped us, Vic, one of the senior directors at Travelport, was actually one of the one of our closest advisors. So he helped us a lot along the way, and the preparation's just been very rigorous, and it's been a long journey, I have to say.
So tell me about how you came up with the idea. So,
This is I get this question a lot. So I didn't want to take the SAT, and it was the day before, and I didn't study at all.
Okay.
So I said, why can't I just like fly out of here right now instead of driving all the way to Hartsfield-Jackson?
Okay.
And the idea just popped in the head, like.
Were you flying somewhere to take the SAT?
No, I just.
You just wanted to get away.
Yeah, I just wanted to leave.
Just in general.
Get away as soon as possible.
A good friend of my daughter's didn't study for the SATs and made a perfect score.
Ah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's sick.
Yeah.
And then the news interviewed her, and they're like, "What'd you do?" And she's like, "I didn't study." I was like, "That's not the answer you should have given him." So anyway, so you just wanted to get away from the SATs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, if I had an app, I would
Yeah, I
totally
would
get away.
do it right now.
But you didn't want to have to go to Hartsfield.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Did
go
you have
all the way
like
there.
bad experiences at Hartsfield? And,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys were doing the pitch event this morning.
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about preparing for the pitch event, what that was like.
We started preparing around 2 days. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we didn't prepare that early. we started preparing like 2 days ago.
Yeah, most adults don't
And
either.
we
so
haven't
it's
met
okay.
for like a month, so like we really need to do some touch-ups, and like we had like Skype calls the last 2 nights where we just edited the entire slides together, and like we made it a lot better, and we practiced, and we just went through the trial runs. And when we got here today, we were all pretty nervous, pretty nerve-wracking, but then once you get up there, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, and so you
That's
guys
what I
are
had
in
to
a group of how many?
5.
5.
5. Okay, so did you guys know each other before, or were you put
No.
together in the group?
Yeah, I knew like one kid before.
One kid
Yeah,
before?
Yeah.
I live in like a completely different area. Like they all live around like Johns Creek, and I'm kind of around here, and I go to different schools. So
Okay, all right.
so it's
So,
a different experience meeting new people.
so that's an interesting way to form a team that has to then come up with an idea and sort of decide responsibilities. So
Yep.
talk to me a little bit about how you worked through that.
So I came up with the idea and like the whole like theme of how it was gonna go. So I took the role of CEO, and then Albert came along and he knew like all the research for it, and he figured out most of the things that would be necessary to talk about. So he became COO.
Okay.
And then I'm Chief Information Officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you all have chief titles? Is it
Yeah.
like see,
Yeah.
see something?
chiefs.
That's sort of the ultimate for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually you just say that you're the chief bottle washer. That's what I tell people. So, but group dynamic, I mean, understanding what each one of you might do better or worse, like, was that just a natural thing? Because someone had to do finances, someone had to do research. How did you decide to divvy up the work?
It was definitely natural. Like we all tried each other's positions, and like it didn't work out, and
Yeah.
so we had to like switch it around. In fact, like a month ago when we pitched, like did some practice pitches, we had completely different slides
Oh, wow.
to do. So
Yeah.
like we just completely changed it up.
Yeah, it was really came together at the end. Like at the beginning, everyone was kind of like loose,
Yeah.
and everyone was just working on different things. And at the end, we really consolidated everything, so it made everything like the pitch. I think we did pretty well today. So
It's nothing like a deadline to make you, like, things don't happen, Isaac, until there's a deadline, right?
Yeah.
it should have been a tighter one.
Should have been a tighter one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever project you do, it'll grow to whatever the deadline is. So it's just sort of, that's the way it works. It's a time continuum expansion thing. So how far did you have to take the idea? Did you actually do a product, or did you have to create? Like, how did that?
So initially we were trying to think of a product, but that didn't really work.
Yeah.
So before QuickFlite, initially we thought of like a safer way to, like, if you drink and drive,
Yeah.
it would be a safer way for that to happen.
I think that's called an Uber self-driving car.
But like after a few ideas, I threw out the QuickFlite idea, and that just stuck with us because it made the most sense. And Jim and our other mentor said that this is a really good idea. If we could present it right and show it off right, then it could possibly happen.
I guess my question is more in line of, you know, how far did you have to go down the path of actually creating the service?
Yeah,
You know,
we ended up we didn't actually like publish the service, but we have it completely ready. Like we have a website that's ready to go.
Okay.
We have applications that's ready to go. We have we've asked many people how it will be. So in the near future, if we want to, we could launch it.
And so talk to me, I was talking, Jim, I interviewed him earlier, and he was talking about the price per mile and things like that. How did you guys come up with that? How did you know what it was going to cost?
I have to say, Jim and Amin helped us a lot with like the financials, just figuring it all out. Because at the beginning, we wanted to do all this like fancy stuff, like 80% to this, 20%, blah blah blah. But then he helped us simplify everything, and we looked at the commercial prices in between like economy and first class. So we went somewhere like in between that was a good price for like businessmen and women, and so we could provide our services while like giving them the best experience possible.
Very cool. So what I want to hear from each one of you is going through this experience, what's something you learned? Like something that was surprising to you that you thought was either easier about creating a company or, just an unexpected thing. We'll start.
Oh yeah, so like when I first came here, I was like, oh, the objective is to win, but now I'm like, I learned a lot more stuff about entrepreneurship, and like I already have like a few stores that I already manage, and like it really helped me grow those too, because I applied the skills I learned at TiE to those. It's just like you learn so many things.
You have a couple stores you manage already?
Yeah.
Like online stores?
Yeah, e-commerce, yeah.
Do they sell, because you guys are all nicely dressed, is it like ties or something?
Oh, no.
What are your online stores?
Oh, yeah, okay, so I sell clothing on one.
I called it. I said clothing. Go ahead.
I sell phone cases on the other.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Awesome. So what about you?
So coming into TiE, I didn't expect anything to happen. I was interested in creating an idea from scratch and building it up, but I wasn't expecting like to actually make it work.
Okay.
Like I thought it would just be like you're here to win,
right?
Not here to like actually present something. But that changed over time, and I thought like, oh my God, this can actually happen.
Yeah.
And similar to Samir,
Yeah.
I have my own e-commerce store as well. So I do clothes just like him. He's the one who got me into it.
That's awesome. All right. How about you?
And before, I have to be honest, like I thought business was just like coming with an idea and it was just quick, maybe like a month, just go launch it and you just figure everything out. But I have to say it was like a long process. You had to get to know everyone. You had to figure out their roles, figure out like what each person had to do. I learned a lot of teamwork and how we had to go through, like when some things didn't work, we had to find solutions quickly and think on our feet basically. And it's helped me, like I can definitely apply these like business skills like later on in life and also like to the other aspects of like what I like to do.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about the program that I like is that you're not just taking a case study and reading it or, thinking about the idea. You're moving a real one forward. So I give that advice to people who are thinking about getting into entrepreneurship. Pick something that you like and start trying to pitch it to people and seeing what their reaction is, because at least if you have something tangible, you start to see what it really takes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's sort of like entrepreneurship itself. It's like you're coming up with your own idea, you got to follow through and present it to whoever you can and everyone, even if it's like a grandma or like a 1-year-old child.
Yeah.
Just present it.
Right. Well, the more you present it, the better you get at telling the story and simplifying it and really about simplification. And so from here, you guys gave the presentation, and then the next step would be if one of you wins and gets to go like to Zimbabwe.
Somewhere like that.
Somewhere.
I have no idea where it is this year.
I think it's San Francisco. And the
exotic forest.
Right. And so that you get to take the competition, you get to take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So in thinking about this and comparing it to maybe regular classes and things that you've taken, like give me a difference between this and maybe one of your...
So like a school class or something?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so like right now I take like a business class at school, and we're literally doing the same thing that we're doing here.
Yeah.
Our final project is to create like a pitch, and we've been working on it for like 3 months now. So I can like, at first I thought about just copying this idea and putting it there, but then I was just like, that's not a good idea. So I just thought of something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the more you practice
Very
it and do
similar.
it, it's a good way. And I love the fact that they have created these programs, because when I was in school, they didn't have this, right? You had to go take math and English and those kind of things, and those skills are great, but they don't apply to some of the stuff that you're doing. It's a much more creative, sort of organic process. So let's get your names again to make sure that I get everything right. So I have the founders of QuickFlite service, which is one that I hope comes into fruition, though it means I might have to fly on a really small plane, and I'm not so about that, but whatever. If it were closer and I didn't have to go to Hartsville, that'd be great. So I've been talking with
Albert.
Raheel.
Samir.
and we've been coming to you from the TiECon Southeast Conference with TiE Atlanta. It's been sponsored by TiE Atlanta, and talking with the TYE, which is the Young Entrepreneur, or the TiE Young Entrepreneurs, and we're not sure, and someone will eventually tell us. You've been listening to Build Your Best Business, and we've been talking with future business builders. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
Every day, you wake up as your own boss, making your own way. Every day, you continue your journey to change the world, your team, and yourself. Every day, you encourage, congratulate, celebrate, and reach toward your goal of being the best and providing the best. The Build Your Best Business Show is for you. The real stories of building a business from other owners and founders along the journey. Find the support and advice you need to successfully start, grow, manage, and exit your business. What are you going to do today to build your best business?